A new year of UFC action is upon us, and some major fights have already been scheduled. In the first pay-per-view of the year, January's UFC 311, Islam Makhachev defends the lightweight title against Arman Tsarukyan, in a rematch 5 years in the making. On the same night, Merab Dvalishvili puts his bantamweight strap on the line against Umar Nurmagomedov, cousin of UFC great Khabib, who will also be in Makhachev's corner that evening. In February, there is another rematch, as Dricus du Plessis defends the middleweight belt against Sean Strickland, whom he dethroned with a narrow decision in January. That bout caps off another double-header, with Tatiana Suarez challenging women's strawweight queen Zhang Weili earlier in the night. But what else do we want to see in 2025? Here are 5 UFC fights we're craving. Let's get the obvious one out of the way first, the consensus most desired UFC fight in 2025. The heavyweight titles must be unified in 2025. If Jones does not want to face interim champion Aspinall, he must retire from MMA or vacate the regular belt. Either of those moves would only boost the volume of the ducking accusations against Jones, but he can't be allowed to keep his title while avoiding the Briton. Aspinall has already defended and retained the interim gold once. He has more than earned his shot at Jones. Aspinall, 31, is 6 years younger than the American, faster, more powerful, and a more natural heavyweight. But to give Jones credit, the light heavyweight GOAT showed with his recent stoppage of an admittedly older, slower, rustier version of Stite Miocic that he does have a solid chance against Aspinall. Now he must prove it. After Chimaev ran through former champion Robert Whittaker in October, fans decided they were willing to overlook the Russian's relative lack of activity and seeming inability to fight in the US, to see him in a title fight. Dricus du Plessis holds the gold, and that would have been an enthralling pairing, but Sean Strickland has managed to largely sit and wait his way into a rematch with du Plessis, who dethroned him with a close decision in January. So, Chimaev should get the next title shot, whether that be against du Plessis or Strickland. The former matchup appeals more at the time of writing, but Strickland, who apparently fared poorly in past sparring rounds with Chimaev, might change our perception when he faces du Plessis in February. When The Independent reported in late 2023 that Machado Gary had been barred from training at Leon Edwards' gym, appetite spiked for a clash between the pair. At the time, however, Edwards was welterweight champion and Gary was too far down in the rankings to justify that matchup. But Edwards is no longer champion, and Machado Gary recently lost a #1 contenders fight, on short notice, and by a relatively close decision.